Hey, come here. Time for a sneak peek.
Coming up next, a special episode of Sledhead 24/7. Discover the latest news from the snowmobile world in 2019. The major snowmobile manufacturers just released their latest snowmobiles with upgrades and leading-edge design and technology. Sledhead 24/7 went behind the scenes to share what's new from Polaris, Arctic Cat, and Skidoo. We'll preview the models and show you what to expect as our team of experts provide in-depth reviews. Talk about Fashion Week. FXR, the premier manufacturer of snowmobile clothing, also released their latest line. Looks great with new ways for warmth. All that and more right here, right now on Sledhead 24/7.
Let's see if we can get you guys stuck.
Hey, welcome to Sledhead 24/7. I'm your host, Jeff Fisher, and I'm bringing you a special edition show, Sneak Peek 2019. We're starting with Polaris. They're bringing us a new 850 Patriot engine, as well as a new XC platform. Let's go to the sneak peek and check it out. Jeff Fisher here with Sledhead 24/7, and here we're at Model Year 19 for Polaris. This is their sneak peek. We get a chance to go look at all the latest and greatest innovations they have for us this year, and it is not going to disappoint. You know, one of the biggest changes that Polaris just introduced to us is their Patriot 850 engine. That is just blows me away. It's what we've been asking for. More power, lightweight, and durability.
We've got an all-new 850 Patriot engine. Again, an extension of our existing Liberty family. But really this one is all new, so we gave it an all new name, the 850 Patriot. Really developed around class leading durability, class leading acceleration, class leading performance, and also class leading power was a derivative of that development effort.
You know, one thing I really like with Polaris is they do listen. This is something we've been asking for. Is the new Indy with the coupled rear suspension, 129, and you can get it in a 600, 800, or my favorite's gonna be the 850 Patriot.
In front of us we have a Model Year 19 Indy XC 600. So this is a brand new premium level trim Indy with a new 129 rear suspension and a new chassis. So we're really excited to introduce the Indy family into the premium level of sleds, and a new chassis architecture with a new 129 rear suspension. A lot of what we learned with our Pro XC suspensions, front torque arm geometry similar to what was in Pro XC, and using those Pro XC learnings to build a new architecture for our 129 rear suspension, focused around trail ride and big bumps and chatter, and then on the flat trails, cornering and control and handling. So what this does for us is it takes us to the next level of being able to handle more varied terrain, more varied conditions, and get that ultimate performance out of our Indy lineup with the premium package and the new 129 rear suspension.
Something else Polaris sprung on us was the RMK Access. Now this sled's always been a great sled. Now we can get it with the 850 Patriot engine. They have a new narrower front end that makes it more predictable and easier to side hill and steer. New running boards, they lighten it up a little bit. This is going to be the full package.
A new front suspension with forged control arms and a forged spindle. This is a 36 to 38 inch adjustable front suspension, so about 3 inches narrower than our current RMK front suspension. We call this the React front suspension, and that's basically because it aligns with what it's doing, and that makes the sled react more quickly and more easily to the rider's input. So easier to toss around, more flickable, easier to throw into a corner, playing in a meadow or holding some steep side hill. It does all that with less effort and more control. You can kind of see down on the rail beam the new high facts that we have that have the cutouts in them to lower the unsprung weight of the vehicle, lowering the overall mass and keeping the weight of the vehicle as low as possible. So a few features on the new model year 19 Pro RMK.
The biggest change we're going to see in the rushes is the new 850 Patriot engine. This thing should be just awesome on the trails.
Excited that we're continuing the XCR lineup, continuing the legacy of that sled, bringing it back generally unchanged going into model year 19. Still super exciting sled for that ultimate ditch banger, the guys that are out wanting to go fast through the bumps and just letting it hang out. XCR is a perfect sled for those super aggressive riders, and people love it. We haven't changed it. We're bringing it back, so the guys that really want that type of sled, it's here for them and ready to go.
We're super excited for people to get on the snow, get on a vehicle and go for a ride and enjoy the power, the durability, the acceleration, flippability, and the overall performance of this engine.
So that's what's new at the sneak peek for Polaris. And riding these new machines are fabulous, especially the new 850.
Still ahead, our Sledhead 24/7 Sneak Peek Special Edition rails on. What's new with Skidoo? Jeff Fisher and the Cub dust off their passports and cross the border to Canada for a no-holds-barred road trip at the headquarters in Quebec. Big Fish is genuinely stoked about the latest from Skidoo. If that's not enough, just wait till Arctic Cat unveils what they've been working on and developing. Please stay tuned.
Sledhead 24/7 is brought to you by Amsiol, Protect Your Weekend, by Polaris, Terrain Domination, Arctic Cat, Share Our Passion, Skidoo Snowmobiles, What Matters is What's Next, and by Ram Trucks, proven to last.
Hey, welcome back to this special edition of Sledhead 24/7. I'm Jeff Fisher, and the Cubby and I got to do some flying time. We got to go up to Skidoo and check out what's latest and greatest for BRP. They stepped into the turbo market big time. You guys are really going to be excited. We're here at the model year 19 for Skidoo Snowmobiles. This is a sneak peek before anybody else gets to see this stuff. We get to see some new innovative designs, some new sleds, and some new products. It's gonna blow you away. You know, something Skidoo did, they answered the 4-stroke performance. Now we have a 900 Ace with a turbo in it. 150 horse, throttle response is just gonna be awesome. It's not just a 900 Ace with a turbo. This is an all re-engineered motor. They have the pistons, the rods are stronger. This is made to handle 12 pounds of boost, 150 horse. I can hardly wait to ride it.
Two new things in this snowmobile. First, it's a 900 Ace turbo, but also in the Renegade XRS package. That's the first time that we have a 4-stroke in the XRS package, but mainly because this 4-stroke is so powerful and responsive that it was, let's say, in line with what the XRS package is. So on top of that, this year we launched the Rev Gen 4 with the wide body work panels to fit the 4-stroke engine. So we have a new distinctive looks. And for the 900 Ace turbo, you have these grills here that are really particular or specific to that engine that give it an aggressive look, like I'm used to say like a muscle car. So it's really a badass sled, I would say. Really good look.
Backcountry. Here is the new Backcountry XRS. So this is the new Backcountry series.
You know, the snowmobile I am very excited about. In fact, I even had a tear in my eye when they unveiled this one. This is the Backcountry XRS. This is the 146 track with the XRS shocks. This is my new baby. You know, this is going to be truly a true crossover sled. This is going to have the 146 track, so it's going to handle the deeper snow, as well as the XRS suspension package and running boards and some of the reinforcements. This thing's going to be a mogul masher as well as a powder runner.
This year, guys, for model year 19, one big change is that the Backcountry will become a model by itself. In North America, a segment that is growing big time is what I've called the crossover extreme, crossover with the 146 track length. So we wanted to give full visibility to the backcountry. So now it's no more a configuration or a package of the Renegade, but a model by itself. So now we have the backcountry, and this year the backcountry XRS. So the backcountry XRS will have all the features of the Renegade XRS is known for, like the big shocks at the front, the Pro 36. So the big shocks under the suspension, so the Pro 36 and Pro 40. And for sure, since you know the C-Motions that we launched last year is part of that model, so a very good rear suspension for a crossover usage. And the great color. This is really a flashy color. I really like the color. Available as a spring option is the shot starter. So you will have the electric start and the shot starter as a factory option if you order at the spring.
You know, I've been asking for this snowmobile for quite some time, and Skidoo fit the bill. XRS Backcountry, that has me written all over it, as well as the new turbo. And in the XRS chassis, this is the first time Skidoo's put a 4-stroke in an XRS chassis. That thing is fun to ride.
When our sneak peek special edition continues, the big cats are ready to prowl. Go green with envy at Arctic Cat. But first, here's today's Amsoil Tech Tip.
When racing, we're very fortunate in our racing snowmobiles. We have consistent fuel because we run a spec fuel, comes in sealed drums, we know exactly what we're getting every time. Unfortunately, when we're on the road with the big red rocker and the transporter, we don't know what we're going to get for fuel at every fuel stop, and that's a challenge. I mean, sometimes the fuel has been sitting in there for weeks if it's a smaller truck stop, sometimes it's a day, sometimes it's biodiesel, sometimes it's mixed, who knows? And one of our keys to that success is using the cold flow and the diesel recovery that Amsoil makes. We always add the cold flow into the tanks, and the diesel recovery is if you do get into a situation where your fuel filters plug up, these Amsoil products keep the red rocker going, keeps the race generator going, and it keeps everybody happy, because when they're not happy, I'm not happy.
Hey, welcome back everybody. We're at the Arctic Cat camp. This sneak peek is not going to disappoint. They have a new Alpha 1 single monorail skid and an IAX suspension that's going to blow your mind. I'm out here in West Yellowstone, Montana, out here riding the model year 19 Arctic Cats. Yes, I get to ride them before anybody else does. And I tell you what, you're not going to be disappointed with all the new products that Arctic Cat has. Sitting on the new Arctic Cat Thundercat for model year 19. A few changes they made to that. They brought the sled down a little bit with a shorter shock package to get it to lay flatter in the corners. They went with a 1-inch track, which is going to be great for the guys that for speed as well as ease of studding. They're going to get more penetration into the ice. This is going to be one go fast package.
Yeah, so this year, 2019, we've got a new suspension system that's coming on a lot of the ZR models called the IAX suspension. And it's a system that we've co-developed with Fox. Fox has introduced the IQS shock, which is an electronically controlled quick switch shock. And they've had it out for a couple of years now. We've been working with them on it. We tied in with our supplier, and we built up a SCM shock control module that interfaces with the gauge and the engine ECU to add some intelligence to the overall vehicle suspension system. So if you're familiar with the QS3 package that we've had in the past, this is more or less a replacement for that, and what it does is it gives you the touch of a button with your left hand. So we've got a switch that's integrated into the new handlebar controls. It shows a display on the gauge, lets you know what setting you're in. You can switch on the fly as you're going down the trail. If you see a rough section you want to get off, bump it up to firm and go hit the bumps, come back on the trail. Seems like groomed trails, 1, 2 is more desirable. It lets the front suspension kind of settle into the corners, and 3 just gives you some good rigidity, anti-roll. So
The engineers at Arctic Cat never rest. The new Alpha 1 suspension, this thing is industry changing. In the mountain segment, they went to a single rail, which makes a lighter suspension, no cross shafts, and then it's a lot more flexible, a lot easier to ride, less riding effort as a rider. So not only taking and making it lighter, but less rider effort to make your mountain experience way more fun.
We have a new single beam suspension mounted in the center of the track. There's a few design goals or a few things that we're working on. We want it to be lighter, we want it to carry less snow, as well as adding maneuverability and increasing traction. So it's built for off-trail riding, deep snow, make it easier to get around, and be able to get through the snow without getting stuck. Having more traction, having more flotation, having an ease of maneuvering, as well as increased maneuverability. This thing will do some amazing things. Tight, sharp turns, getting around obstacles, putting the vehicle at different lean angles and yet maintaining traction and flotation through the snow.
So that's what's new with the Arctic Cat crew. The new Alpha 1 is the real deal. I've had a chance to put some miles on it. The new IAC suspension is fantastic. If you like the QS3 shocks, you're gonna love the electronic use of that IAC.
FXR shows off the latest in what to wear when our sneak peek special struts down the runway. It's easy to see what the best dressed will be wearing now.
Sledhead 24/7 is brought to you by Amsoil, protect your weekend. By FXR, world-class outerwear. By Stud Boy, traction with an attitude. Ziegler Cat, exceptional service, backing the best equipment. And by US Air Force, aim high.
Welcome back everybody to this special edition of Sledhead 24/7. This is a little different sneak peek in a way, but we got a chance to go to the FXR sneak peek. And Milt Reimer, you do not disappoint us. That guy puts on a show like no other. We had riding, we had racing, we had bonfires, we had fireworks, as well as the trickiest clothing you can imagine with a fashion show to boot, and a good dinner. What more can we ask for? Check it out. Excuse me, have you seen Milt? Oh, I ain't gonna get anything out of him. Oh, excuse me, if you see Milt, I ain't gonna get any out of him either. We're here at ERX Motorsports Park in Elk River, Minnesota, and we're here to enjoy FXR's clothing lineup for 2019. Now this is all the cool stuff that all you guys and gals are going to want to wear next year. Let's go inside and check out the lineup.
We're pretty excited about what's new with all the snow gear. Almost everything is new this year. I think there's like maybe less than 10 things that are carryover from last year. So almost everything is new. We're super excited. So let's take a look at a few things and show you guys what we got coming. What's nice about this jacket is it's not only our Omni Stretch, but this is one step tougher, stronger, more durable, and more trick. This fabric is the same durable four-way stretch that you've seen on some of our other Omni Stretch pieces, but it's a thicker, fully bonded sealed tri-laminate shell. And it's the only piece in the industry right now that's a fully bonded sealed tri-laminate shell that still has a zip-out liner. One of the new partnerships that we're announcing this for 2019 is a partnership with Rockstar, and we're super excited about it. You know, it stemmed from a relationship that we have with Brock Hoyer, as you saw, you know, on the podium again at X Games with a silver. He didn't quite defend that gold, but he came home with a medal nonetheless. So very cool. So if you watched X Games, you would have seen him out there with our Boost X jacket with the Rockstar edition. So you'll see in a few places in our lineup some pieces with the Rockstar co-branding, and so we're really excited about that. So what I'm holding in my hands is our all-new helium carbon helmet. This helmet is like the trickiest thing you'll ever see in terms of the different vents, the shaping of the shell. The thing about this helmet, sub 1,000 grams. This is an ultralight helmet, super high performance for those backcountry riders or people that really want the ultimate in lightweight and in venting and cooling. the new helium carbon, and it looks super, super trick. One of the cool new goggles we have this year is our Pilot. It's a carryover from last year, but the big update we did is we put a single lens clear iridium anti-fog laminate bonded directly to the lens. And this single lens goggle actually outperforms a double lens in terms of its anti-fogging properties. It's kind of like voodoo or something, but it really, really works, and you just don't fog. You get the wider field of vision because you don't have the foam in between your lens layers. Plus you never get moisture in between the lens layers, so this goggle is really going to outperform a standard double lens goggle. You really want to check these new Pilots with the clear iridium anti-fog single lens.
Thanks. That's about all we can squeeze in for today. Make sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube page. Log on to Sledhead24-7.com to watch our massive library of episodes. We'll see you next week for another hard-riding edition of Sledhead 24/7.
New innovative design and Steve Cowing. And we have Steve Cowing. What more can you ask for? Because they're making me a backcountry X. You got me. Hey, I'm quick like a cat.